Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We are with Angie LaRue, who is a transmitter of Pleiadian energies, the codems. We're going to experience what this is and also talk more about how we're being assisted in this way. Hi, Angie. Welcome back.
Hello. It's so wonderful to be here with you again, Lauren, and with all of you out there too in Quantum Land. It's really an honor to share this space and this place of heart with everyone. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you too for joining us, and thank you all who's watching and listening. This is a very sacred space, and we can already feel the energies. So as we get started, we're going to experience a few of the Pleiadian energy downloads through these codems. But Angie, tell us, please, for those who are not familiar with this work, what are the Pleiadian codems?
So the Pleiadian codems come to us from a Pleiadian named Osan, who is a 12th dimensional Pleiadian who has a third dimensional past life here on Earth. And that's how he communicates to us, is through that third dimensional self. Where the Pleiadians are in their own evolution of consciousness as 12th dimensional beings has opened them up to these mathematical sets of frequencies, which they're able to mix, much like we might mix a recipe to make a cake or make muffins. They're able to mix these frequencies together to create different states of being. And that could be emotional, psychological states of being. It could be, health and wellness states of being, or it could be spiritual states of being. In other words, they work on all levels. And they work really well with the human body and the human biomorphic field. And they're based on numbers. And the numbers actually just set up a field, a vibration, which creates these beautiful changes for us. And the Pleiadians originally got the codems from the Andalusians, which are actually in another universe, one universe over. They were the ones who originally taught Pleiadians about this form of frequency and how to use this. How long the Pleiadians have been writing their own codems, I can't tell you. It's been, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. But originally they were actually gifted this technology themselves, and now they're gifting us, or a few of us with it. And then a few of us have permission to share it. We have certain agreements with the Pleiadians now, which I'm very careful to honor. So.
All right, it's really amazing as we hear of disclosure coming out. This is becoming more of the norm. Your work will become more of the norm as well. And I find that really fascinating. It is real. And it is here to assist us. Now, you're one of the few who've been aligned to work with these codems, to receive them and to share them. And you also, I think it's behind you, you've got this beautiful crystal array bed. Oh, yes. Was it working with the crystals? Yeah, that thing underneath that mattress is this beautiful array. It is quite amazing. I think we can feel the energy just in your room, in your space there. Would you attribute this crystal array? Wow, when you did that, I totally felt that. Okay. Would you say that it's this crystal array work that opened you to this connection with the Pleiadians, or was it something different?
I think that definitely had a part of it. So originally, the channel came to me because he believed he had some implants that he didn't want. And at that time, I was just awakened and I was still exploring all of this. And I I was still working on whether I believed in ETs, much less implants, much less hostile implants. And so my initial reaction to him inside myself was, you don't have implants. That's not real. But I knew enough already to be quiet and just use my psychic abilities, which I'm a fairly adept psychic, to look inside him. And I have medical intuition, so I'm able to see inside the body like a MRI or an X-ray. And so I looked, and I actually, oh, hi, Cesar. I actually found two of them, implants in him. And so we set up to basically have a surgery, have a removal done. And during that removal, towards the end, I actually found a third one. And I could psychically see that his uvula, which is that dangle down thing in the back of your throat, was really long. It disappeared down his throat, and that it was actually like it was a device. But I didn't have any more time in his surgery. I was becoming exhausted. And so I brought him out and told him what I had done. And then I started to tell him I've discovered a third device. And when I did that, a change came over him and his voice changed. And the voice said, "Hello, Angela. I'm Osan, and we have some information for you. And after you review this information, we leave you to make whatever determination you would like to make regarding what you've discovered." And he went, "Phew," and this like telepathic information came in, and I was shown how the device was installed, why it was installed, and the soul agreement around it. And it was a soul agreement that he would be the mouthpiece for his future 12th dimensional self. And I was like, oh, not my business. And so I left it at that. I didn't suggest a removal, but I did ask him to open his mouth so I could see this uvula, right, with these eyes instead of just this eye. And I invited his wife over as well, because I was curious if she even knew that he had this. She didn't. And it was remarkable. I don't know how he doesn't gag. It just goes way down his throat. But that began a relationship between Osan and I of trust, because I had morally and ethically acted on that manner in a way which did not override anybody's soul agreements and anybody's free will. And that began a relationship. But I do believe that it was, that initial being known as a psychic surgeon and as a Christologist that brought that gentleman to me in the first place, which led to me meeting Osan and led to the development to where I am now with all this.
All right, fascinating. So Osan is the 12th dimensional being, but sharing a consciousness with your client?
Channels through. Mm-hmm. He's kind of an open mic, and not just for Osan, but for a number of other Pleiadians as well. He's just really kind of an open channel. And I've never met a medium who was so much an open channel.
So the implant, that was on purpose, and it was for a reason.
Right.
Some would tend to think that implants are negative, to be monitored by but this was for good, for
Right. He had agreed, because what happened is the third dimensional person, who lives just in the next town, understood as a spirit, as an eternal spirit before coming in the body, that this association with his future 12th dimensional self would help evolve him faster in this life as well. So it was good for both the third dimensional self and the 12th dimensional self. All aspects of the self would benefit for this. And so physically, to answer Nancy's question, it looked like the uvula, except inside of it was almost like a wire, like an antenna, some kind of, electronic type device. And it was attached to the palate of the mouth. So that's like the base. So imagine like a upside down antenna, right? Where you have the base and the antenna. This is like turned upside down and attached to his roof palate, and it goes down the uvula. When I looked at it psychically, it seemed like it went down about this far. But when I physically looked in his mouth, it definitely goes out of sight, but you can't tell to where. But it's quite long.
And so you didn't remove it,
No,
or
wasn't my business. As soon as I learned that was a soul agreement and that this gentleman had agreed to this implant before even coming into a body, that's no longer my business. He agreed to this. This is his free will, and I don't have the right to override that, no matter what my opinion is. You know, my opinion is null and void, no matter, it doesn't matter at that point anymore.
Okay, well, that is beautiful because respectful as well. So you said he's like an open mic, so he's using this to channel higher dimensional beings to make our planet a better place, to
Mm-hmm.
share the information. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was really fascinating because before COVID and lockdown, there had been a meeting. So there's these occasional meetings in which Osan, the Pleiadians, are present and tell us things. And they told us a lot of different things. But around June, before COVID broke out, they told us a big event was coming to planet Earth and that it would affect every human on the planet. And they gave us some codems to start running in advance so that we could ride the waves of the coming change that was going to happen. And we did haphazardly because, you know, it was just hard to imagine that there would be some event that could affect every person, every country. You know, I mean, there's people that live up in Tibet and way up in mountains in the Himalayas and the Andes and the Amazon basin and the Congo. And it's just like, how could something affect every human? It was really hard to believe. And he told us when and when it would happen, and then when humanity would actually hear that it had happened, which was like quite some months apart. And then all that stuff unfolded. So, you
And
know,
that was what was it? What did you hear of when it would start and when humanity would hear it? Is it true to really what happened like in November of 2019?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
And the event would happen in, I'd have to look at my notes exactly, but I think the event would happen in August, but humanity wouldn't hear about it until like November, and it wouldn't really sink in until, you know, January, February, something like that. But we were given the whole outlay, and there's a big story about what's behind that, which is really interesting and probably off subject, but but they were right. The Pleiadians were right.
Okay, I don't think it's off subject.
Oh,
Please
okay.
tell us, please do, because you know, some would be apprehensive or frightened seeing something like this come down the pike, but it wasn't, you weren't told specifically, you were just said, you were
They
just,
said they didn't know how it would land on planet Earth. So according to the Pleiadians, the Huronians, which are two universes over,
Heronians.
have reached a point where they're like almost creator gods. And they kind of monitor other planes of existence and other universes. And our universe had reached the point where it was ready for an evolutionary push, right? To evolve to its next potential. And so they sent out a pulse wave through our universe. Now, when it hit the Pleiadian planets, they had a big love fest. It will go down in history as, you know, the time of great love, where everybody fell in love with everybody, and it lasted quite a while. And they said, but you're third dimensional beings, and you're still struggling with deciding if you want to live from fear or if you want to live from love. You're still exploring this as a species. And your species is kind of divided. You know, you're almost 50-50 on how it is that you want to progress as a species. And so you're going to be given, somehow this is, you know, however this lands, it's going to force everyone to decide if they want to move forward from love or from fear. You're going to get to study this in depth. So we don't know exactly what it's going to look like on your planet, but we think it's probably not going to be the time of great love that we had. And they were right. It was actually the time of great fear, in which we had to use love to kind of to push through it. And we're still in the process of that. So, yeah, so that's the backstory on, according to the Pleiadians, where this all came from. And then, the breaking that down of how that played out on Earth and the Wuhan lab and all that is the,
Yeah.
the human side of the story.
Yeah. All right. Very interesting. Well, are we done with fear yet? That's my question to everyone. Are we done yet with fear?
No.
I am so done with the fear of it. It's really interesting. So these codems, are they actually helping us transcend fear to to fortify ourselves?
Oh yeah, you bet. They've helped a lot. We use these regularly in the Tuesday night group, and we've seen some pretty miraculous things. And there's some of the people in the audience here know what I'm talking about. Um, they are super helpful, and when you do them once a week, a certain smoothness and flowiness starts coming back into your life, a certain effortlessness. And that doesn't mean that you don't get a news blast and for a moment go, oh my God, but it passes really quickly and you're back into your happy place if you choose to be. So in other words, a lot of the media stuff isn't as clingy. It doesn't cling to you. In fact, there's specific codems to keep that stuff from clinging to you. And there's certain things to keep the collective consciousness from clinging to you. And I don't know if any of you have experienced this, but like if you have friends that are out of country, like maybe snowbirds who go down south for the winter and come back, they talk about the density when they come back to America, and that it just kind of settles on them, and it's just heavy, and it's just like this heavy, unpleasant cloak that they wear when they're here. And we live in this all the time, and so it's like the smell in the room. After a while, you can't tell that, oh wow, it's heavy and horrible here. And codems help that. They help you to stay bright and light and love filled and help hold that to join you in that. And absolutely, I consider them as instrumental in my life as prayer and meditation and my relationship with the divine. They're part of my practice and how I stay sane in a world which is kind of the upside down world right now.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, these are energy, and you are working with so many of them. In fact, there is a special offer for our audience of a package of these codems. And it really is like vitamins for us, energy vitamins for us to give us the fortitude to fortify us. Um, wow, just to be stronger and more balanced and more centered. And do you think that this also connects us into our higher self as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's one set of which is just for connecting with your higher self and source. So, there's a lot of things we humans need to support us. We need emotional states of being and heart-based states of being. We need things that help us stay grounded and clear so that we can have discerning in this reality. Um, our connection with source and higher self, and our health and our body and our immune system. And so, when I put together, and a lot of thought had to go through it because I had to, out of hundreds of codems, I had to really pick the ones that are most supportive for all these states of being, mind, body, and spirit, in which, because if one of those areas goes sideways, it will affect all the rest of the areas. So we need total support, right? We don't need just vitamin E. We need the trace minerals and the everything. We need support in every area, and any area that's not getting support could turn into an Achilles heel. So yeah, I've done my absolute best to make sure it covers everything. So there's part of them are just for health, part are for, prosperity and abundance, part are for overcoming, emotional challenges and emotional energies from other, and help us stay in our, peace and yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. We'll talk more about those later in this program. I'll put a link in the chat line for everyone to find out more about this special offer. And we really thank you for that. So we're going to experience one. And if we have time, we want to open up to our guests on Zoom and have you interact with them as well, because that's really fun to see how you bring your psychic abilities out as well. It's really very, very cool. Okay, so you've got one that you're going to share for us. Before we get there, what about what do you want us to know about this codem that you're going to play for us?
Okay. So there's some types of energy work which has a very permanent effect, like some of the ancestral stuff when we go back and start healing the generations. But a lot of energies like Reiki energy and healing energy, codem energies, things like that are temporary. They last 7 to 9 days, and then the collective energies and the energies of whatever we're being exposed to kind of start overriding it. So the really great thing about these videos is that you can just keep reamping your system every time the overwrites happen. You can overwrite those. Now, one thing you want to do as the audience when we play these is there's a part where you take place, and we activate the codem. So we don't want to put the numbers out there, which you're not going to hear the numbers. They're actually silently whispered because I don't have the permission to actually give the numbers away, with a few exceptions. So I whisper them, and then we say together, activate, which means turn them on. Enhance, which means adjust them to our unique frequency, because as spirits, we're all unique. We're all a little different. It's not one size fits all. So it's going to tweak it to your unique twinkle as a spirit. So activate, enhance, then amplify. Amplify is homeopathic. It starts spreading it. And expands it into your auric field and your multidimensional being, because we want all aspects of ourselves to be in accord and alignment with each other. So in between saying those, we take a breath, right? So activate, inhale, enhance, inhale, amplify, inhale, expand. And you notice how I worked with my voice as an amplifier. So I'm sending a wave of frequency out into the field, which is holding those energies to activate and turn them on. So when you say these words, and don't worry, everybody, you'll be muted, say them firmly. Don't mutter them, don't whisper them, don't catch only the last half of the word, like, hance instead of enhance. So really enunciate to really turn these on and make them work. Anything else?
Well, no, I think we're intrigued, very intrigued. And so it'll be a moment of sharing. We ask for people to tune in and witness what you experience. And then if you'd like to share, you can do that in our chat line. Okay, thank you.
And this is done in a slight meditative state. We don't need to take you into a meditative state. The video and the energies of it will take you there if you will just give it permission to allow yourself to be fully present with your experience and feel it. And after we activate codems, I don't know how many we'll do, but just relax into it and feel it and notice what happens. And stay present with your noticing instead of thinking about, the shopping list or your to-do list. Just stay present with your experience. And this is backed up with, I run a mystery school. I'm the founder of a mystery school, and we have some advanced students in the school who held sacred space for this. There's a lot of angels and guides and benevolent beings that are present during it. And then also the orgone generator crystal biobed behind me is powering it. So you are going to feel a lot of energies and really enjoy that. It's like a sip of iced tea on a hot day. All right. Should I share it now?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
And you have the backup. Earlier, we just had Zoom updates today. And the video was skipping a little bit. It doesn't actually skip at all, but I don't know on the bandwidth. I don't know what's happening. So if it does skip, Lauren, you have a backup, maybe it'll work.
Okay.
This codem series are codes for the coming Aquarius energies and help to reboot ourselves and culture. Allow yourself to relax. Let the day go. We begin with deep breathing. Allow ourselves to settle into the place where we will receive the codem energies in the most profound way. When systems change and rebuild, it's much like a seed cracking open, wriggling up through the ground to burst into the sunlight and begin its growth. With change comes upheaval, and our first codem is to be able to maintain internal calm in the face of all of it. It's a security preparation codem to ensure that you get what you need when you need it, and it helps secure consciousness so that you can stay grounded in the eye of the hurricane and be able to assist others as they shift and move through the coming energies. Say with me, activate.
Activate.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Amplify.
Amplify.
Expand.
Expand.
Our next codem is entitled Awareness of My Awakened Consciousness. Say with me, activate.
Activate.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Amplify.
Amplify.
Expand.
Expand.
Our next codem is energy for the coming times when Earth is being renewed and rebuilt. It's abundant energy for the new times. Say with me, activate.
Activate.
Enhance.
Enhance.
Amplify.
Amplify.
Expand.
Expand.
We exist in many places and in many layers. There's many layers to our auric field. Some in the third dimension, some in the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. We also have other selves in other timelines. This codem lifts all of our bodies and all of our beings, the totality of us in all spaces and time, bringing in higher frequencies, bringing it into alignment with the Aquarius energies. Say with me, activate,
Activate.
enhance,
Enhance.
amplify,
Amplify.
expand.
Expand.
Our next codem is a unity codem. Me, you, source, and understanding the nature of everything. This is a unified field codem. Say with me, activate,
Activate.
enhance,
Enhance.
amplify,
Amplify.
expand.
Expand.
All right. So that was about 3/4 of the Age of Aquarius video. That was, yeah.
I feel expanded. I feel multi-dimensional. And I feel wonderful. I hope everyone is feeling similar or even better. Thank you. I love the whole presentation there. Really wonderful. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's more in that video. It's a complete package, but that gives us a sampling of how the new age of Aquarius will eventually be settling onto us. And there's a lightness, an ease of flow, an expansion, expansiveness. Yeah.
And I think it's an activation for taking steps for New Earth. And New Earth is a vibration within us. And this helps us bring forth the wisdom that's within us to take steps for New Earth. Yes. And I just had to open my eyes and look at the beautiful scenes of the water as well. Wonderful.
I specifically designed the videos. You know, a lot of us are used to receiving energies, and we're probably going to close our eyes. We may watch it the first couple times and then probably not again. But for those that are just moving into meditation and just moving into, meditation and energy work, it gives you a focal point where you can release and allow. All the scenes and all the music and all 12 different videos are designed to help you open up effortlessly. And I really put a lot of work. I put about 16 hours per video into these. I brought forth the best of my knowledge and my creativity to make these.
It shows. Thank you. It does. It's beautiful. And we know that making videos is very time consuming, but it's very creative as well. And so a lot of love goes into it. And I would think that also magic happens because you're supported by the Pleiadians and your guides and angels. So as you're doing your voiceover for this with the codems, selecting the video scenes, laying down the musical track, isn't it amazing how there's just natural crescendos in the music?
Mhm.
That's the magic that happens with it. So when it all comes together, it is really beautiful. And we have reports from our Zoom audience that it was healing and peaceful, cosmic light, beautiful.
The whole idea to put the codems into this medium and make those public for the first time completely came from spirit. It was the idea had not occurred to me. It was definitely spirit inspired. And the beautiful thing about them too, Lauren, is that you can, if you own them, you can download them to all your devices. And so, you can have them on your phone or your laptop or your computer, so you have access to these. I went to India and I had the health codem set with me. And I got sick a couple times while in India. I was there a month, and I was able to burn through some pretty serious illnesses in like 24 hours. And I would play the health coda, the health videos, just the audio version because it was on my phone, 2 or 3 times a day, and drink lots of water. And it was remarkable. I just burned through bad illnesses really quick. So it's a wonderful life hack to have any of these with you.
Yes, and it's energy, and we know that it's really popular with people, the energy downloads. This is a good time right now. Let's go over the contents of that package, and then we'll go to questions for those in our audience who have it. Okay. So how many are there in this package?
I think there's
different options.
There's different options. So package A has 3 videos, plus there's a how-to. Package B has 6 more videos, so that'd be a total of 9. And then package C, package C has 9 plus a 55-minute session. So let's look at package B because it's going to have all of them. So, all right. So the first one is 12 powerful transmissions for optimizing the aura, the biomorphic field, and the chakras. It's 14 minutes long. There's 11 powerful healing transmissions for health and wellness. That's 13 minutes long. The next one's 10 energy transmissions for optimizing and enhancing the self at 10 minutes. There's one that has 9 powerful energy transmissions for prosperity and abundance. That one's 5.5 minutes. There's 9 transmissions for love and heart-based codems, which is 12 minutes long, and beautiful video. 10 powerful energy transmissions for connecting to source and higher self, and that's 12 minutes long. So let's actually scroll way down and look into okay, so for example, the optimizing the aura and the biomorphic field and balancing the chakras. These are the different codems that are in that. There's one that opens and balances the first 3 chakras, root chakra, sacral, and solar plexus. And also one that opens the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. There's one that clears the energy system and it activates the power chakras. It directs healing energy to wherever it needs to be, and it clears the lymph system, which is a problem in modern life. We have a lot of sluggish and impacted lymph systems. And it also directs energy towards spirit alignment. There's a codem for balancing the male aspects of the field, the female aspects of the field, one that balances those two to each other, and then one that unifies them so that we can become the lighthouse and radiant beacon of who we are. There's the Everything 800-year holiday codem, which does 10 different things. It's the only codem we have that's like that. It was they had a unique holiday on the Pleiadian homeworld that happens only once every 800 years. And so the codem chemists who kind of mix these cocktails together, they came up with this special codem for that celebration. And it does 10 different things. So, and then they shared that with a small group of us humans. So now I'm sharing it with you. There's a codem that balances you in any field and creates new synaptic pathways to bring in that compelling energy of life's calling. So there's actually 4 different codems in that. That's a codem cocktail itself. There's 4 different codems in that to create all that. There's one that uplifts a biomorphic field to a higher frequency. And then there's always bookend codems, one of them that opens up and helps your field to accept the codems. And then for different types of star people with different energetic backgrounds, there's also a codem that helps you to absorb and integrate Pleiadian codems. And then the closing bookend codem is to bring all of those codems to a completion so that you always end up feeling really just smooth and revitalized and wonderful after listening to a codem set instead of just receiving so much energy, you're knocked sideways. So I really put these together in conscious packages to where everything's wonderful. So that's just an example of how many codems go into just one video. And they're all like that.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing on that. Again, the link to learn more and see all of those is in the chat box on Zoom, or it's on this webpage, or in the description box of where you're watching or listening to this program. Thank you. Check it out. There's a 2-payment program so that people can put this in their life with ease and grace, if that helps. We want people to be able to access these. Okay. So no wonder that one of those said there was a biomorphic field raising to a higher frequency. That's what I felt in this Aquarius one. And I don't know if that was intended, but definitely that's when I said multidimensional. I feel all the subtle bodies like sparkling. Yeah. So there's something going on.
Yeah,
and
it feels really, really spacious. And if we had to run that clear to the end, the effect is even stronger and fuller and very effervescent. The Age of Aquarius codem set is very effervescent and twinkly. Yeah.
Well, we felt it. I hope everyone felt that. Okay. All right. Beautiful. There is a question coming in as we were talking earlier about, the earth, where most people still were in fear instead of love. I am holding out for that day where there is a love fest on our planet, where, I think we mentioned this before. We thought that was going to be December 21st, 2012, but it can happen every time we look at another human. If we're vibrationally in that space, I'm certain that enough of us watching and listening have driven around on our car and looked at the world in love in that way. So we're getting there. So there's a question. Do these codems help bring up unconscious fears so we can release them on a conscious level?
That's a really great question. There is, and I will find those for you. Whoops. Let's see. I think that's in package A, which package B comes with package A. All right. So there's a whole set of grounding codems. Then there's a set of codems for cleansing, clearing, and detoxing. Then there's a 911 rescue codem package. And okay, so for example, in the 911 rescue codem package, these are the ones: calm my senses, safety and security, relieves feelings of being overwhelmed, extreme high frequency shot of energy, useful if you're going into fear, stress, or anxiety. There's one to stop being triggered and release that trigger. There's an emergency trigger family codem, which is a series of codems which are connected with family trauma and can be played in advance before going to see family, in which triggering situations are anticipated. And then if you put the codem on your phone, if you put these on your phone as like an MP4, you can also listen to it, just before going into that family dinner or whatever where the trigger often happens. It helps you to stay in your center and not be triggered. There's one for your coming to your own emotional rescue. And let's see, there's actually one. Okay, these also are really similar to what you're asking. So this is under the cleansing, clearing, and detoxing. There's one for eliminating your story and establishing inner sovereign peace. So it's not even so much about, oh, here's the thing that scares me. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to face it and I'm going to deal with it. It's more like that energy comes up and it goes away and you remain. So you're not even looking at the details of the story. You're just going, oh, yeah, there's that. And then you return to your inner sovereign peace. There's a codem that cuts generational and past life ties and releases ties that are not relevant or pertinent in this lifetime. And this is kind of a relationship healing on the inside in order to reach the outside. There's one that clears blocks to the love frequency. It's called inner conflict resolution. It releases attachments which no longer serve you. So this is, and all of, with the codems, we're not going into any kind of, therapy type things where we have to look at what the story is and analyze it. We're just releasing this energy of it and replacing it with the energy we want to be there. And the mind, the psyche, and the emotions will follow suit. We can get where we can just let a story go with not even having to know the details and revisit the horror, yet again, and traumatize ourselves yet again by, revisiting that terrible thing. We've all got terrible things, And there's one that brings in grounding and security. It's a field sovereignty, and it pushes out energies which are attachment energies. So these are like people's clingy stuff that happens. It pushes it back out and gives you field sovereignty. There's one for being above the chaos and a high frequency shielding with your heart connected to source. So there's a number of these codems that are gonna work for that, and there's some I didn't cover as well that are in the other packages. So there's actually a lot of tools to help with that, thankfully.
Beautiful tools, wonderful tools that assist us, again, moving through the energy, letting it pass, being aware of it, not too aware, being aware that it's there, but moving it out. That is ease and grace with tools like this. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, Zoom audience, if you have a question for Angie, please raise your hand and we will unmute you. I'm going to go right now to Destiny. Destiny, hi, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hi, Destiny. Okay, maybe she stepped away for a moment. Destiny, if you are ready, we'll take your question. Otherwise, we'll move on for just a moment.
Um,
Here, Sacer has a question.
Caesar does. And Caesar is familiar with these codems. He comes to the Tuesday night meditation. And yes, they do help you get rid of addiction, actually. And there's a lot of folks out there that are dealing with prescription addiction from, heavy meds or heavy psychotropics or painkillers or whatnot. And it can be really very difficult and very challenging to get, off of some of those meds. They were designed, sadly, to make you keep taking them. And yes, there's codems to help with that. And a lot of it has to do with giving you your sovereignty back again. So with codems, a lot of times we're not looking at kind of the negative, which would be the addiction. We don't want to focus on that and put power there. What we want is you to have your sovereignty and to get to make choices that you want to make and have the power to do it. And so that's what the codem addresses, is putting you back in the power, right?
I can see how this will help in so many areas of our life. And wow, like people who've used these codems, how have you seen some shift in their life? I mean, it's like sometimes, wow, they could change jobs, they could change careers, they could change relationships, start new businesses, all of it.
It helps you to be your best version of yourself, or even the version that you always wanted to be and imagined might be possible. And it helps shift the energies to that. There are several of these codem sets, optimizing and enhancing the self. And there's two different sets that are like that. And I'm not sure if the business and entrepreneurial set is in here or not. That might be in a future one. Yeah. If you want to shift things, these are tools to do it with, right?
Energy tools to assist us in this ascension process. Yes, of clearing out the old, things that no longer serve us. Okay, well, let's go. Nancy, we are coming your way. Hi, Nancy, you can ask your question.
Yeah, hi, Loren, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Oh, yummy, yum, yum. Yeah, I'm such a big fanatic on feeling words and not feeling any of the negative words in the dictionary, because I reinterpret them, reframe them as an absence of the positive. Like nobody's poor, they're just an absence of richness, abundance, and prosperity. And I'd really love for people to experience that if I'm walking along safe throughout the community and someone or an animal comes up to attack me and I start shaking and sweating, my safety is threatened, and I want to create safety in that moment for my life. So we've labeled it fear, and the Pleiadians and people, the star people, are, want to support us and help us earthlings to get rid of fear. But it's a needless project, because it should be interpreted as how to create much more safety when we're not safe. That's what the star beings need to look at, but they're buying into that damn word fear instead of, we want more safety. Do you sort of understand where I'm coming from, Angie?
My experience with the Pleiadians is actually the opposite. They are reframing it towards the positive. So, if I ask for a codem to help me, not be afraid of hearing news, for example, they will instead give me a codem that helps me feel powerful and sovereign within my own self, no matter what, which is what you're saying. So
no, it's not what I'm saying. You're talking about a codem for not being afraid. I'm saying the opposite, not feeling unsafe. Two different, it's like two pianos. Imagine two pianos. One piano is safety, low vibration safety, middle, high. The other piano is all broken with the broken strings, broken keys. That's fear. The low fear, middle fear, more fear. It doesn't even need to be in our vocabulary. It can be substituted by feeling safe. And when we feel not safe, we want to create more safety. We don't want to feel not afraid and create more afraidness. This is so hard for people to understand, this basic kindergarten principle. Can you sort of grasp what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I grasp what you're saying.
I mean, if the whole Eastern philosophy would please shift from love and fear to love and it should be kindness and safety. Kindness is more important. Love is not as powerful as kindness. We're humankind. War is not being kind to one another. People who, Putin, Hitler, they loved killing, they loved war. So love is really not as powerful as kindness, but we're brainwashed because certain, texts, sacred texts say love is the answer, love is the grand finale. It's not true. People love to kill people love to rob the banks and kill people to get the money. They love it, or they wouldn't be doing it. They do something else. The world is in a state of,
Thank you
what
for sharing that, Nancy. I think you have some very interesting things to say, and I appreciate you sharing that.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I wish
welcome.
the world would go back to kindergarten. Okay,
All
thanks.
right. Okay, Nancy, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Loren.
All right. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, this is a beautiful time to recenter and feel into our higher self here, our higher self, and what we resonate with. And so sometimes it looks like we just get caught up on words. And that is something to contemplate deeply in each of our journeys. Okay. So, Angie, thank you. Is there any other information coming from the Pleiadians about these times, or are these codems what they've given us as support? Is there any other information coming through, or are we good?
One of the things they talk about quite a bit is in the new age will be
back in your body. Hi, Lauren.
Oh, there we go. Okay, Destine is back with us.
Hi, Destiny. You can unmute.
Oh, wow.
Hi.
I am exactly doing what you're speaking of here. But what I'm noticing in this moment is, okay, I've got myself who's really working hard to to move forward and choosing to stay in happiness and choosing to stay out of all the other and just try to see through it and choose what makes me happy. And then there's the other aspect of me or something on the right side that is trying to keep pulling me down. So literally I feel like I've got this battle inside of myself who wants to move forward and be in love, be in peace, and choose to spend my money on the things I want rather than to have to keep buying clearings and healings with this aspect that keeps. So I got the victim and the victor.
Well, we're in a unique situation as a human being because we're able to perceive so many different states of being. And fear is useful, right? We can't outrun the saber-toothed tiger or the clan bear or the mob down the street that's chasing us, the guy with the knife. We can't call 911. We can't 911. We can't act responsibly if we don't have healthy fear, right? So healthy fear is a survival instinct. But what happens is fear also sells. And that's one of the really great things that's been discovered in the last decade or so, is that fear sells even better than sex. So advertisers and, news media and stuff like that is really using fear now to activate us, to get us to spend money, to save ourselves. And so that's a new thing. Like, that didn't really happen to our parents' generation. That's a new thing that's happening in this generation. And so, and that really helps create that division inside of you. So I would encourage you, Destiny, to be gentle with yourself. I don't feel that you're doing this to yourself. I feel like, the outside world has discovered a way to hack humans, and they're doing that. And so, when you recognize, those discouraging thoughts and stuff, just allow them. It's part of the human experience, but don't let them take you where they're trying to take you. Go ahead and go back to, your happy place, but be able to be present enough when you have those feelings to know if there's an appropriate response. Maybe you need to go, fill your gas tank because the price is getting ready to shoot up, or maybe you need to, go buy some food because the prices are getting ready to double. So you kind of want to be in this world and, responsive in a practical way, but not necessarily of this world, if that makes sense. So your heart and your psyche are attuning to the state of being that you want to experience, but your body's still here. And so using some discerning. Fear is not a bad thing, unless it starts eating our brain, it's out of control, and it's dictating our behavior in situations in which it's not appropriate.
Can you tell if I'm like fully, what I feel like is happening is I'm getting out of body, or like partially in it, partially out of it, and experiencing other places that I don't want to be. That's what it feels like.
How much are you exposing yourself to news and culture? The current events.
I don't even watch television. I don't watch television.
Okay, but there's still the computer. Most of us are doing it through the computer these days.
I will be honest with you, about the only thing I really do enjoy are like telesummits or these different shows that, talk about what's happening. So anything that's got to do with moving forward, but I literally do not put myself in the way of anything else.
So you're not unconscious. So you're picking up these vibrations from somewhere else then.
It's horrible. Right now I'm just like, really, wow.
Do you know about shielding? Do you know how to shield yourself, dear?
Yeah. Okay, now I just did a meditation, and she was allowing us we were picking up our hearing, but it's like, okay, I just want to make sure that anything that I'm getting is actually that of the true light and not anything that's not. Mm-hmm. Basically. Can I ask you to see if I just want to make sure what I get is only of the true light, mm-hmm. and not anything that is not.
So I'm getting that you're pretty empathic and that you're picking up just all the energies around you, which, a lot of the energies around you are struggling to be in a better, happier place. Yeah, you might want to, in your home, play some really good music like 528 hertz, or get these codem sets, or, where you can kind of override the frequencies around you. Because when I look at your field, it's really open and just all kinds of stuff is coming in it. Like, you seem to be very empathic, and you're picking up, your neighbors and your family members, and it doesn't matter where they are and where you are. You're just kind of absorbing everything, which is like, being in the ocean and just overwhelmed by waves of stuff. So maybe try to control your psychic shielding better, and also the energy in your home. And you can do that with crystals and crystal gridding, and playing some of the the like 528 hertz music. And there's so many useful things that you can do to control your castle, both this castle and the castle around you. And so I think, Destiny, maybe look into that, into getting a little bit more perimeter control of your space and of your psyche.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, dear.
Thank you, Loren.
Thanks, Destiny. Okay, awesome. Wow. Feeling into that. Yes, we are happy to have you here today, Angie. Thank you so much. I want to go back to that question that I did ask as we say goodbye. Were there any other messages from the Pleiadians about these times?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's right. That's where we were at. So it's gonna be a little while. This transition period is going to take us a while. We have a lot of sorting out to do. But eventually, when we really land into the Aquarius energies, we're in a spot where our technology is kind of pulling us apart. We don't know our next door neighbors. We don't know the people down the street. And we used to know everybody on the street, right? We used to be community. And now we've kind of gotten separated. Maybe we're community with, little specific groups here and there, but they're not even located in the same town. But we're going to start moving back towards community. It's going to look a little different. It's going to be more tribe, where we're connecting with like-minded people, but we're doing it not definitely on the internet, but also in our local neighborhoods more. And we're, exchanging goods and service and knowledge. And humans are biologically a herd animal, and we need each other, and we need those hugs, and we need talk, face-to-face conversation, eyes meeting eyes. And as we get settled into the age of Aquarius, there's going to be a lot more of that. The human heart is hungry for connection. And the Pleiadians tell us that we will revision and rebuild community in a way that works more effectively for us. And we will let go a lot of the things that are dividing us right now. We're getting a lot of things that are encouraging us to practice being divisionistic, choosing this or that, black and white. And we're going to become more compassionate, more allowing, and seeking for that which creates unity instead. So, that was one of their big messages, was we are going to revision what it is to be human. And that a lot of the thought leaders and heart leaders are going to be the ones setting the energy for the new Aquarius generation. And if you're here watching and listening to this right now, you're part of that. Okay. And those waves of energy go out from you and start helping and shifting and supporting the people you pass in the grocery store, everybody in your life, your friends and your family and everything else, which is where these codems can help you a lot, is to hold that stable field, unwavering, stable field, so that you can emit that light like a lighthouse and help other people. And this is how we do it. This is how we land at age of Aquarius, and those energies that we felt earlier, that lightness and that expansiveness, where it's safe to be us, right? This is one of these tools to support us to do that and be there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. We can feel that this year has been very, very transformational. And I've even heard, with the finger on the pulse of this community, that 2023 is a year of community and really working towards that. And these past few years, what it's done to us has made us take a stand and look around and see more inside of us of what we really do want in our world. And we have said that there is a surrender to love going on, and it begins one heart at a time. So thank you, Angie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, everyone here. Thank you for your light. You, as Angie said, are a new earth leader, whether you know it or not. And so we honor you too. And let us know how we can support you. Angie, I am always so thrilled to be in this space with you. Thank you, thank
Aina.
you, thank you.
Stop.
Thank you, Lauren. It's a joy and a delight to be here with you and with all of you out there in the audience.
I saw you come in. Like a little sergeant music.
You know, we hear it said, be the change that you want to be in the world. Be you, live from your heart, set it in action now. We become the new thought leaders, and we help anchor in the age of Aquarius energies by individually living our best self. And that's easy to do. We can actually do that. We've done it many times before.
That's what comes natural. Everything else, say bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you. I love you all.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening and joining us today. We love you. Namaste. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.